So my dear participants, the first and foremost request is to please keep yourselves muted. You will be given time to speak to Vandana directly and throw as many questions as you can. She would also be available offline for you to interact and keep bothering her with a lot of questions. So with that note, I, Supriya Kabra, Director of Cosmique, I welcome you all with this applause. Wow, I know it's all no work kind of situation right now, but then still you have spent this 40 minutes in learning. So I welcome you all. And I would want to give one line of brief introduction about Vandana, and thereby, Vandana, you can brief about yourself in details. Vandana Teji is a HR consultant, OD consultant, and a corporate trainer. She has stepped down after 12 odd years from corporates and has started her own venture in the name of The Unicorn People. And she is our proud co-founder in our mobile app, Entraco. With that, Vandana, I can't keep going on and on about your detailed profile, which I haven't marked up for sure. So I would really request you to please speak about yourself and then take us with what business as usual is all about. And meanwhile, guys, if you have any questions which comes up, you can put it in the chat window. Last 10 minutes, let's quickly have a question answer session. Thank you. Vandana, over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Supriya, for the warm welcome. And thank you, everybody, for joining me, on time. And that is really very, very important. And taking out time from your schedule and, taking up the session, it means a lot to me. So, yes, Supriya, you've given a brief about me. And I would like to keep it at that. I think because apart from that, one thing that I want to mention, I'm a certified P.O.S.H trainer, and I'm also empaneled with the Government of India with the Ministry of Women and Child Development. I conduct P.O.S.H trainings as well as I am a part of as an external member with around organizations and help them take decision through this. Apart from this, I think a lot is available on my LinkedIn, and we'll connect and we can utilize the networking there. So without wasting much time, I would like to start the session for today. And so, before I go ahead, I think we have how many, so, if you can, correct me, how many, we have as business leaders as of now who has joined? Do we have any? Okay. Do we have any business leaders who have joined us? No, right?
Yes, there are a couple of business leaders, and there are people who are at a very senior position. So we can consider them as also their business leaders in their own process.
Wonderful. So, this would be a very interactive session. I know it is a short session, but I would really love to hear your opinion as well, because until you ask those questions, I might, it might become a monologue. Okay. So I will first try to understand, and please feel free to unmute yourself and, quickly quote yourself in the interest of time. What do you understand when you read the terminology business as usual?
Anybody quickly can unmute and speak.
I mean, for me, it's life in spite of not going on as usual in the normal context. I think there's a lot of things that we can do which prepare ourselves for the future, which will make it business as usual for us. So it's like business as usual, not feeling on the one side that this is time to be wasted. This is time for just, so-called Mauj Masti. I don't think so. I think it's time that we have got, which we can really well utilize to make sure that we are ready when the sun shines brighter than what it is doing now.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, Nikhil. That was bang on, I would say. Anybody else who would like to take a go? Anybody? Feel free. See, right now, what is important, it is, I think, business as usual is such a famous phrase. Everybody knows about it. It is what right now here matters is your perception of this quote as a phrase.
Ravindra, you are unmuted, so please speak.
Okay. So in the interest of time, I'm moving ahead. So, to give you a brief about business as usual, while Mr. Nikhil rightly said, it is not the time to actually loiter around or waste it. It is the time when you actually go ahead and make the best of your time. But, I would like to start with some, history, because I love history. And so business as usual was a term coined by Winston Churchill. I think everybody knows who Winston Churchill is. He was the Prime Minister of Britain. And the term was coined during the First World War. The reason why, and that is when Winston Churchill was not even the Prime Minister. He was not into politics even. But then there was this term was actually coined. The reason for this term to come into picture was to showcase that irrespective of the war, the people were motivated enough to actually go ahead and present themselves and at work and treat it like any other day, irrespective of the odds, because the idea was that if the people go ahead and start to work and there is business as usual even during war, the enemies would feel demotivated. Yeah, because the economy is not gonna take a hit. So that's when business as usual came into picture. Now that's history, right? I would request to mute if you can. Okay. Uh, so that was history. But what is business as usual today? Do you think it is usual times? No, right? I know the answer is pretty straightforward.
No.
It is not usual time. Yes, yes. But it's this unusual time. So are you ready with unusual options to deal with the situation? I would request business leaders to come up and talk. What
Yes.
have been your plans during?
For us,
So what are your unusual steps?
for us, it's like it totally caught off guard. Things have kind of, especially this present crisis, has actually kind of become a real crisis. Maybe we have tided over quite a lot of crises before, but this has become a real crisis
Totally.
as we speak now.
Yes, yes. So today my session is not just gonna revolve around Corona. Okay, it is not gonna revolve around Corona. It is, it is to deal with any crisis situation for that matter in the future for you. Okay. Now you have to understand that Corona has given us time for some introspection, look internally, and ask this question as business leaders, as managers, as trainers, as HRs: how prepared are you for such a situation? Wherein the point is that it is not something which is like a lockout, political lockout, or say it Mumbai rainfall, which is unpredictable, but yet within a day or two, आज नहीं तो 2-3 दिन में बारिश बंद हो जाएगी and lockout खत्म हो जाएगा and people will go back to normal. Yes, it is not that. It is as severe. Crisis to me is as severe as 9/11, when the World Trade Center went down, and there was so much of uncertainty. Everything was brought to a stop. Everybody was inside the houses. Everybody was terrified. Or for that matter, India had experienced bird flu. That's the time I recollect when I was working. I had joined my first job, and And I still remember, and I was in Pune, and my mother was totally scared. And in fact, she was so scared that she actually came all the way from Jharkhand to be with me to ensure that I'm not eating non-veg. So yes, but then how prepared are we? Is the question that we are supposed to ask ourselves. Now, what should a leader do? Is my point. I am, you can see the points here, but I really want to understand, Ravindra, when you actually last spoke, that you were taken aback because you were not ready for it, right? So what did you do? Anybody? What did you guys do in order to take control of the situation?
Okay, let me share if no one else is sharing on this point. The entire group and Vandana on the 14th of, for the month of March, I'd announced 2 train the trainer programs. One was on 14th March, one was on 21st March.
Okay.
14th March, we were, experiencing Corona, but not in such a big way. So we somehow managed to do the program in the conference room as scheduled. 21st March, things got worse, and it was advisable, and as suggested, 2 days before even our Prime Minister was on TV, on Nash. So we decided we won't do the session in the conference room. And, I'm a person who always likes live programs, face-to-face, in-person programs. And 19th, after I heard his speech, 20th, I looked up what I can do on Zoom, how can I learn, and you won't believe it, but on the 21st, I did Train the Trainer online program where the participants, I took them one at a time and actually did a packed 2-hour session with each person and giving them the same value as I would give a full one-day program, because there'd be more people. And it was a great experience. It was a huge amount of learning. Until that time, I had not used Zoom at all, right? And here I am interacting.
Amazing.
So I think these are the things, to be ready to do something now different, hugely different because of the scenario. And I'm sure that online, which I never went, is the way to go now.
Wonderful. I have worked from home as one of my key items because, a lot of people, after I posted on LinkedIn, got back to me like, Vandana, this is the first time I'm doing work from home. And I'm totally, I don't know how to follow my schedule. Every day there is something which is undone in my list. So yes, so that is special topic for me. I will really go back. Thanks, Nikhil, for that. Anybody else? How did you guys deal with the crisis situation?
One thing is what Nikhil said was like about innovating. I see that there's part of innovation in terms of how to deal with or how to interact or how to reach out to whom are your audiences. So that changes drastically when it's not actually, there is a crisis impending crisis or already crisis has come on like it did now.
True.
So I feel that when crisis happens, there's a lot of uncertainty among the people, among the employees.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes. So it is actually, I feel it was very necessary to inform from the company side, from the firm side, to inform on the what are the challenges facing us immediately and what we need to do, because employees need clear instructions. Otherwise, it's kind of very haphazard way we act. So then it needs very clear instructions from the employees. So that's one thing. And during the absence from the office, engagement is necessary on a day-to-day basis. So
totally agree.
We just started forming some small teams to discuss on some things which are not really done for a long time.
Very nice.
Who is
amazing.
This? Is it this Ravindra or Vijay Krishnan? I see two names here. I don't know.
Vijay Krishna.
Vijay from Focus.
Okay, Vijay, and if I may,
Vijay, we actually can't see you. I mean, I think when we talk, maybe you can put on your video for 2 minutes so that we can see who you are.
Vandana, would it be a
Sure.
good idea, because like Vijay said, he was with some companies, and to get a context, person can at least have one-line introduction about what they do professionally, or it would help
That
to
I can. I'm so
understand.
sorry, Nikhil, I'm interrupting. That's Supriya here. I just thought, that we can do it later also, because in the
Yeah,
interest
yeah.
of time. I don't know how
Yeah,
much
what
we can
happens?
do.
I
I may
would
only
not
add
be
one
able
thing.
to cover.
That
Please do.
if we restrict it to one line, we get the context of the message. It is important from that point of view. Okay,
Hence,
but it's up to you. Yeah.
hence in the starting, I had want people to, guys, in the meanwhile, while you are hearing to the other people in Vandana, why don't you quickly put your introduction on chat? There is something called as Zoom group chat down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
नीचे
yes,
सबसे
yes.
नीचे there would be a banner, and there is chat. You can put your name and your profession with your company's name, right?
Okay.
So that people can read out there while you are listening to Vandana, and don't miss on this PPT. It may be useful for you. Yes, Vandana.
So I have actually taken I've gone through both McKinsey and, HBR reviews before I actually formulated this. And I've tried to consolidate as much as possible, because believe me, the topic has the power of taking entire 6 hours training. And so I am just trying to rush through. Okay. Please don't mind. So moving ahead, face the crisis, be the leader. Yes. Why are you a leader? This is the moment of crisis, and we lead your leadership exactly as Vijay said. We need leadership to guide us to deal with the crisis. If the leadership itself becomes, shaky and is unable to guide us through this time, then I don't think you are the leader who is worth leading an entire organization. It is the time, because understand, time is very, very crucial. Now, as a leader, what we are supposed to do is not wait for the nth minute. There would be some organizations who would have actually went ahead and went ahead and started planning for this situation the moment they heard about the China thing, you know long before it actually hit any part of the world, and they were ready for a response. And that is the expectation from all the organization in today's scenario. And in case you were among those leaders who were thinking in the nth minute whether to let go my employees, what will happen about my business, then I think, as I said, this is the right time to introspect and look into your policy, come up with something which is at par, so that we can deal such situation in the future. Very, very important. Okay. So moving ahead, and during this, taking action is very, very, again, I use a lot of very, very important. That's my Takia Kalam. I'm so sorry. but I think the topic itself is very, very important right now. And hence my Takia Kalam. And so during the crisis, the problem is this, that the entire thing is unfamiliar, uncertain. And that is the reason it has become more crucial. You really don't know what will happen tomorrow, and hence a lot of panic. For as leaders, you will have to take certain actions, and immediate actions. It can't be before time, it has to be on time. There would, in such situation, I would always, okay, this meeting has been upgraded, great. Okay, so I wanted to say that taking action is very, very important, and taking action at the right time is very important. Whether you can take two types of actions, whether you're making a temporary move like putting people on work from home. Okay, that's one temporary move. Or you are actually going ahead and making long-term business changes, like you're trying to buy some new tools for your organization, which will ensure that tomorrow again, if there is a remote working required, you don't go helter-skelter. So yes, this is the right time to take those actions. You're supposed to, as leader, you're supposed to formulate a response team. Now the response
Joining us back, maybe some net issues has, put her to exit. I'm calling her right away. In the meanwhile, if you can please discuss within each other one by one by raising hands that what is that you are trying to make, do some unusual things to make your business run usually in this crisis time, so that we actually engage in nice, good, thought-provoking sessions while I'm getting Vandana back. Guys, Rena, why don't you start?
Okay, so I'm Mrs. Rena Khatri Tandon. I reside at Mumbai, Kandivali. I work in the areas of P.O.S.H and P.O.S.C.O. We are into legal trainings, compliance, and auditing. At this moment of crisis, I think all I'm doing is upscaling myself to the latest in my field. I work in the areas of legal, so there is a lot of work in terms of training and compliance. Apart from that, yes, the sessions are still on. I use certain online platforms to connect, either on mentoring purposes, or on. So I use Call, I use Viber, I use Skype, I use Zoom, and these are keeping me occupied to connect with the client I need. If there's any other information you require, you can always buzz in, and I'll be more than happy to provide you what sources I use. There is no issue of sharing information. Uh, Otherwise, I think I operate from the space of mentoring. I operate from the space of training, compliance, and auditing. So that's about me. Thank you very much. If you would like to see me, so that's me, Rena.
So
Thank you.
Rena, why don't you okay, so that was Rena. If there is anyone else, Deepak has joined. There are a lot of people. So Mobeen, since you are a startup entrepreneur, why don't you share your idea that what is it that you are doing unusual? Yeah, the one who is speaking can put himself, his video on. The others, I request to put your videos down so that we are, not putting too much of stress on bandwidth. Mobeen.
Yeah, my name is Movin Bavaskar, and I'm a startup entrepreneur. I'm specialized in auditorium acoustics and professional sound system. So basically, during this time of crisis, what we do is we develop our products in terms of engineering. We put a lot of effort in creating our product and backend things that is required to provide the solution to our clients. This is what we generally do it during the time of crisis.
So we have Vandana back. Thank you so much, Mobeen. So we have Vandana back. Vandana, you may continue, please.
And as I said, it is important for leaders to take action at this moment, whether you are taking temporary movements like the work from home, include app, or you are going ahead and making long-term technical changes which will help you enable remote working for future. Okay, but you have to take those actions. You have to formulate a response team. Now this response team, how does it help? I know you are the leader, but being a leader, you're also a human being. There is a lot of pressure of decision making on a leader. So in order to enable effective decision making, it is very, very important to have a response team which constitute of such people with such mindsets, which will help you, differentiate between the clutter and sort out the right news. Because right now there is so much of news flying all around, and but then identifying what is, which is going to impact you, what is for you, what is the right information, is very, very important. And this is the one which will help the leader from not conking down. That is very, very important. Okay, now the last point is being socially responsible. When I say being socially responsible, as you are a corporate citizen of India inclusive, and as a corporate citizen, if you can support your vendors, your suppliers, or or the government of India, your community in any way, please go ahead and do so. This will not just help you make your presence, but it will also make your employees feel that you are, feel your worth, and they will feel proud. And there's something called as brand loyalty, which has really gone missing. But these are the small things which will help your employees to become loyal, considering that my organization is such a pride, it's a pride He has gone ahead and supported people when in time, when in need. Okay. Now, calming your folks down, very, very important again, as I say, because whenever such crisis situation happens, you have to understand this is an outbreak of a virus. It can be anything, whether it can be a war or anything, any attack, you know. It is something which is not just limited to the organization. It is impacting me as a human being. What if I contract an infection and I am in the hospital? Right now, the ratio of human to the bed is so high that I might not even get a bed and I might die untreated. That can be a scenario. That is the panic situation that in which the employees are. So, communication is the key. How you communicate, what you communicate, when you communicate is very, very important. Because if you do not go ahead and communicate the clear picture to your employees, you can formulate policies, but you will have to tell your employees why did you bring that policy into picture. It is important that you maintain that transparency so that they feel that you are with them. Only then can you expect them to work for you. And as Vijay very, very rightly said, it is very, very important that you focus on employee engagement. Why? A lot of people, confuse employee engagement with just the fun activities. While I agree, fun activities help in bonding, definitely. But employee engagement is that when, in the morning, you set a process wherein you are going ahead and telling them what is expected for them to be achieved. You can't expect them like, this is your goal sheet for the year. Go ahead and, start working the way it was when you used to work from office, as though business as usual, because there is nobody dying. That's not the fact. Right, guys? Hence, it is very, very important again that we go ahead and communicate, to your employees what exactly is expected out of them. Try to come up with, innovative ideas of online, engagement, fun activities with your employees. So, this will help you to go ahead and, lighten up the moment. Like what I have recently seen on LinkedIn, that they made a fitness challenge kind of a thing, wherein you were doing a high five to the camera. That means to the friend. So everybody made a quick fitness video, and they did a high five. It is as minor as that. Or you do a water relay, wherein your employees are, all drinking water on the right time. This is, and as suggested by WHO, very, very important right now to keep yourself hydrated. Not just but with the summer, but also it is good for your health. And so we can have water relay as well. That there are two examples apart from. Now, stop looking for perfection. As I have already communicated on that, that situation is not normal. Right now, I don't have a support system. My maid, my how domestic help, she's not coming up. So there is nobody cooking for me, nobody cleaning up for me, which I was used to. Or there is no CRES specialty available for people with kids. So you can't expect them to function, the way they used to, even if they were remote workers. Because earlier they had a support system which has now been taken away. Now you have the same number of hours, you have to complete your work life, and you also have to take care of your core, which will take time. So I would say, whatever you're getting, please be happy with that. Tell them what exactly is the must do's, and they will help you complete that. Recognize their work. Again, very important. In a lot of employee engagement surveys, it has come up that, India is one of those employers who really do not believe in appreciating their employees. During this difficult time, it is very important that we go ahead and extremely important, make them feel that their work is valued, and we all realize that, the kind of pain that they have taken to complete the task given to them. So please go ahead and recognize your employees and they will feel really valued. And when I say recognition, recognition is not just monetary. A pat on the back, just on a WhatsApp group, if you appreciate the person work, that also matters. Just an email, a card, of thank you for your work to all your employees also matters. Make them feel good. So it is important that you recognize their work. You have to create problem support teams, because right now a lot of people who have not done ever work from home are bound to face technical issues. These support teams have to be available to them, the coordinate, and should be well staffed as well. It should not happen that there are so many problems coming and there is only one person answering. So everybody is in this together. So I would suggest that we make an appropriately staffed, problem support team, and let the employees know that they are reachable as and when required, so that work doesn't stop. So before I actually move ahead, I wanted to, talk about work from home. Work from home is, as I told earlier, is the major question which comes to me, that how can I effectively work from home? Because this is totally new to me. Or even though it might not be new to me, I feel that I am not performing the way I used to perform at office. So I would quickly request everybody to unmute themselves and tell me, how many of you are convinced with working from home?
I think, Vandana, the work from home is going to be a reality of the future.
Totally.
And the important thing is to make sure that you can set up your work position at home as appropriate to enabling you to work from home, actually, because I know a lot of people have been saying that work from home has become work for home, and that also can. Yeah, you want to clap for her, Supriya? I appreciate that, because that is bound to happen. It's only a matter of degree. For some people, work from home will become 90% work only for the home, whatever it is. And for some, they can maintain it at 5 or 10% level. And if you can maintain it to 5 or 10% level, then the amount of time that you save in the commute, and then you save everything else, probably have a better work-life balance. Actually, this could become a very, very positive thing. We've already been talking about pollution levels being reduced in countries like Beijing. It could happen in India. So there are
Nikhil, I'm cutting you. So that means you're convinced.
I'm sorry?
So that really means that you're convinced.
I am convinced, absolutely convinced. There's no doubt about it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I have a question for you. You're asking us to be convinced about work from home alone or with everybody in the family?
No, I'm sorry, I missed that. What is the question now? Work from alone, home, or everybody in the family, meaning?
If I am working from home, so everybody in the family is going to be working from home. All the working professionals is going to be working from home. So is she really asking about me alone or putting everybody together?
Everybody is in this together. And I will answer that question. I have an entire slide for you, Supriya, on that. Yes,
okay.
So let's go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. So, So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, my point over here is that I had a boss. Okay. He was my ex-CEO, and, and I had a big tussle with him introducing this remote working policy for our organization. Problem being, for him, there were only two things. Either you work from office or you don't work. Okay. He was totally not convinced with the idea, how can anybody work from our home? There is so much of distraction. You just fool us, And so I had to tell him, there are people who can work from office and who cannot or even work from office, even though they are physically present in office. It is all about your mindset. And whether you like it or you don't like it, as Nikhil correctly said, that work from home is here to stay. And believe me, after we are out of this crisis situation, you will see a lot of organization going into it. Now, I'll quickly quote one very, very good example. There are two things which I actually want to tell you. And because this is data, will have to, make sure that I'm telling you correctly the data. So I'm referring and please don't mind. So to give you quick figures, which will help you digest it if you are still not convinced with the work from home idea, is this that work from home, if you see since 2008, there has been increase in remote working population by 11%. So 11% of the world has now started working remotely. Okay. In March 2013, there was a paper which was published which said, does working from home actually work? And it was a Chinese experiment done by a Stanford professor, Nicholas Bloom. He revealed that working from home, and he conducted this survey on call center employees, because call center people, if you actually talk to them, they will be the first one. It's impossible to work from home. There are so many security issues, and people, I don't have employees with that mindset who would actually work effectively from home. So he actually went ahead and conducted this, and so while Nicholas Bloom revealed that working from home boosted employee output by 13% of productivity increase. I am sure all the business leaders and HR sitting in this room, in this forum, are aware that improving productivity by a minor 2 to 5% takes so much of change and so much of hard work. And by just introducing working from home, he saw a 13% increase in productivity, which is not just it. With a 9% increase rise in the minutes per shift. So people were actually willingly working 9 minutes, 10 minutes extra for their shift, and 4% increase in the calls per minute. Yes, so there was also increment in the number of calls which were being answered by these employees. Moving ahead, again, you said, Vandana, some Chinese company. So I said, okay, fine. I come up with a well-known example, which is for Dell. Dell in 2016, they actually went ahead and enhanced their telecommuting remote work initiatives, citing that it actually helped them with an annual saving of $12 million. All those people who are struggling with space cost, salary cost, operational cost, I think if you have not changed, then it is the right time for you to look for this change. Because even though you don't like it, work from home is, first of all, cost effective. Secondly, as it helps to maintain the stress level of employees. It is really, because, or it also, there is no morning telecommute. So it saves time. It also, impacts the environment and brings down the carbon footprint for the world. And so I think this is gonna stay. Anybody ask a question? There are positive and negative aspects of working from home. And now with this compulsory work from home, our habits may change. However, it depends on the nature of job too. Totally agree, Arun sir. And yes, and I have a pointer for you as well so as I move ahead. And
so Vandana, should we throw the forum open for the questions, or you're going to wind up in another 1 or 2 minutes?
Just 1 or 2 minutes, because
so in the meanwhile, I'll request the forum to please throw your questions in the chat box.
Yes, please start throwing the questions in the chat box. And yes, establishing the process, very as I said, if you don't have a process, there is nothing to follow. How will your employees work? As leaders, you're supposed to pave down the path so that your employees can actually walk through them and and help you achieve your business goals. So there are few questions that you're supposed to ask, and they are as follows. Is the employee eligible by the nature of their job to work from home? Yes, no, maybe. Like, obviously a factory worker cannot work from home because he needs the entire factory setup to work. So yes, that is always there. Are there any cyber security or data privacy concerns, like for banks? Even though, the bank has a Remax token. They actually have a lot of security thing. But not every person from the bank can actually work from home. There is a limitation of whichever departments can actually work from home. Will collaboration with employees team become difficult? If somebody is on a robotics project, okay, how much can you actually sit with one part in one place and there is another part in another place? You can't really assemble online. No. So obviously there is a challenge there. Do employees have a necessary equipment or software installed at home? Yes, you would need the required software in order to ensure that there is ample, so that you are enabling work from home. True. So Arun says that it is very difficult to, monitor. Sometimes it is difficult to monitor people who are working from home. Again, as I said, it is something which has come new. It will take time. However, when an employee, like I'll give you an example of my own family member. My brother-in-law works from home always. He is with Accenture. Okay, so he is from Accenture, and he works strategy, and he rarely goes to office. Like once in 6 months he's supposed to go to office, but there is no point in I don't think the managers ever face any problem in analyzing their productivity, because he is getting promoted every year. I feel that. Okay, so what are the conditions of employees home or office work? Okay,
Vandana,
quick. I'm actually seeing the questions while I'm actually answering, going through my slides as well. I have seen one
Rana is
question on.
asking, is there a daily chart to track them? Becomes easier.
Oh yes, it is. It is. It is. You have to depend on a lot of apps, and believe me, the apps are amazing. I'm going to introduce it, all the apps which will make your life easy after this slide. Right now, in order to ensure working from home, so now I'll give you my example. When I started working from home, because right now I don't have my office, I work from home majorly. It was very, very important for me to come into this schedule. I was facing a real challenge because each time my alarm used to go, I used to snooze it off and then extend my sleeping hour, because I'm no more going to office. I am my boss. So, and especially if you're a solopreneur, it becomes even more challenging to stay on schedule. Okay, no, follow up with account may get delayed. Why will it get delayed? Everybody is on an email platform. And today, most of the bills are finalized online. And if there is some organization which needs hard copy for the bill payment, then, then they will have to wait, because this is, again, I said, this is not business. This is a crisis moment, and we are trying to be business as usual. And so, as I said, you have to create your workplace. Like you have your table, whether you put extension, or you create a small table and a chair wherein you can actually create it. It is very important to demarcate that line. It will help, not just help you to make it professional, but it will also help your family to identify that, okay, fine, he or she is in workplace right now because he or she is sitting in this place, and this is where the person works. So it helps to come up with boundaries slowly but steadily. So establish work schedule, very, very important. Dress appropriately, set calendar reminders, make must-do lists. Must-do list, as I said. Important to take breaks, document it. Email is very, very important, because, and making minutes of the meeting, documenting, using an earphone with a mic because it helps clarity. Staying connected on groups, on WhatsApp, chat, or any other group. Use of technology. So as I said, I'm going to give you tools for technology. Here is the tool for technology. And so we are using Zoom and Google Hangouts for video conferencing. Slack and Basecamp, these are amazing apps, if you know, for tracking work as well as staying connected with your employees. Amazing. You
Vandana,
must
I am
explore
going to do
this.
what? I am going to take this complete slide from you and pass it to all the participants today. Yeah, so that
Definitely.
you guys know what she's talking all about, and you'll be having that handy. All right.
Last
But
but
note,
not the least is Zonka feedback. Zonka is for employee and customer feedback. You have to do employee management and customer management both, and Zonka is a blessing, and it is really very cost effective. That's it.
so
I'm
Ravindra
gonna
and
share.
Narendra. So I have three hands up: Nikhil, Ravindra, and Narendra. Is it anything that you
Okay.
want to ask? So I can connect you to Vandana later. But then, in the interest of time, and since we have our PM speaking at 8 p.m. today, most of them are very excited to hear him all again. So, yeah.
Now you can also write to me or call me on the number,
Correct,
and I'll be
exactly.
happy to help you guys directly.
Yeah, so the details would be completely passed on to each and every participant who have joined in today. And I actually will say thank every one of you to join tomorrow. And Vandana, thank you so much. I know I am very bad at giving you all short of time. मैंने
सच
आज भी
सच
आपको टाइम शॉर्ट दिया और आपको इनविटेशन भी बहुत शॉर्ट टाइम पे दिया था.
सच
Yes.
Somebody speaking.
That's okay.
All right. So
Cool.
guys, tomorrow also same time, do tune in. Here we are going to send across another link to you where we will be having Brigadier Sushil Basin, who would be talking about time investment strategies. Today, this beautiful lady, Vandana Teji, had already told us that what exactly, you have to do sitting back home. Isolate yourself, have your own dedicated space and time and all the tools and techniques. But how are you going to invest your time and divide your time? To know that in details, please do log in tomorrow at same time, 7 p.m. with Brigadier Sushil Basin, who is also a TEDx speaker. And the wonderful and very beautiful interview was taken by our very own participant, Mr. Rohan Homkar. The link, Rohan sir, why don't you share in the chat box immediately so that people can go through a brief of what Brigadier Sushil Basin had to say. And tomorrow we are going to listen to him in depth. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for being a wonderful participant. I'm going to put you to Vandana by sharing her details so that you can throw as much of questions as you want to throw to Vandana. Be ready, Vandi.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
It
much.
would be
There
a
are a lot of
pleasure.
things in the chat. I'll give you. Acha, if everybody can come together, Vandana, why don't you put the screen off? And where is my Vidhi? Vidhi, please be there to take a nice good picture. Everybody is requested to put on your video so that we take this
Okay.
kind of group picture as well. I'm so excited.
Yes, this
ये
group
नया
picture
है
is
यार.
gonna be amazing.
ये नया है. It's very
Selfie.
fun. Didi, after
Rena.
everybody is on, put your mic on and say 3, 2, 1. Great. So thank you so much, guys, and a big clap for you all. Hope to see you tomorrow. Yeah, be there at 7 p.m. sharp. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.